there! Today's video is all about taupe. There is definitely a taupe theme happening. I'm wearing a taupe shirt, I have on my taupe nail polish, I'm wearing a taupe eye look, and I am going to show you all of the taupe eyeshadows in my collection. Now, when going through these and sort of pulling out everything that I wanted to show you, I started thinking to myself, really, what is taupe? It kind of has a lot of different meanings to different people. And so I looked it up, literally, so I could make sure that I was pulling the right shadows to show you. And taupe is just considered a brownish gray, so that has like a very wide range of meanings. So I pulled the eyeshadows from my collection that I consider to be taupes. Some of them are more purpley taupes, some of them are more golden taupes, or maybe more brownish taupes, but I wanted to kind of show you a wide variety of what I would consider a taupe eyeshadow and just show you all the really differences there can be in different taupes. I think a lot of us really like a good taupe eyeshadow. They're also subtly different that I think that I always keep adding to my collection. I know a lot of us do because of those subtle differences. It really just seems like they all kind of go differently with different looks, and you'll kind of see a little bit what I mean when I get more into this. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. I have categorized these by brands, and I'm just going to go through brand alphabetically. I thought that would be the easiest way to do it, and also wanted to mention I am going to be linking to the blog post for this down below so that you can see better swatches of these in natural lighting. Sometimes I know it's hard to get an idea of these shadows in indoor artificial lighting like this, so I am going to be swatching all of these and taking pictures outdoors to link to below. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. But for right now, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first shadow I'm going to share with you is from Benefit, and this is Benefit's Fawn Over Me. This is a very soft shimmer shadow. It's really buttery in texture. I would consider this sort of like a golden taupe. Let me swatch this for you here. This one's going to be a little bit difficult to see on my skin because it is very light. I'm going to swatch that here on my hand. This one is probably one of my most favorite shadows for the summertime. I think this is the second or third one that I've gone through. So there it is. It's just a beautiful, really pale golden color. I love it just for a wash all over the lid, just slightly up into the crease with a highlighter in the summertime. I think it really makes for a soft, beautiful summer look. And I have to say I don't reach for this that much during the fall and winter time, but such a go-to for me. I'm wearing it so often in the summertime. So that's the first one from Benefit. So next to my collection are my Bobbi Brown taupes. Now these are probably some of my favorites. I do love Bobbi Brown shadows. I've mentioned that before. And so these are the ones that I felt were closest to taupe in my collection. And I think she does taupes very well and has a good variety of them. So the first one I'm going to show you is Heather Mauve. Now this is what I would consider sort of a silvery taupe. It may have like a little bit of purpliness in the undertone to it. This one is probably not one of my favorites of hers because it does pull very silvery on me, and it does have a little bit of grittiness to the texture of it. So I have it, I've used it occasionally, but just not. I think she's got some better ones in the line. So there it is there. You can probably see that little bit of silver shimmer in that. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you now, this is one of my favorite shadows. I think I mentioned this in one of my favorites videos. This time of year, I start relying on this shadow quite a bit. It's one of my really go-to looks when I don't want to experiment with anything new. I want to go with something that really works for me, and I just absolutely love this shadow. This is my third one of these, I believe. This is Slate. This is a matte shadow, definitely a more grayish, purplish taupe. Again, just one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows. This blends beautifully. It just has such a nice soft texture, and it goes really well all over the lid. Let me show you this one. You're going to be able to see next to the Heather Mauve just how much more grayish purple that one is. So that's the second color down there. A lot darker, but don't be afraid of it because it does blend so smoothly onto the lid. Love Slate. I actually saw this recently at a cosmetics outlet store, and I had like a slight panic. I'm like, oh no, it's being discontinued. And as soon as I got home, I emailed Bobbi Brown customer service and asked if it was being discontinued because I had that moment. I was like far away from home. It wasn't a local outlet store. I had this moment of, do I buy a whole bunch of them, or do I just think maybe it's a fluke and I just wait till I get home to find out if they're really being discontinued? Unfortunately, it was not discontinued. I'm not sure why they were there, but anyway, I'm so glad that it's not, because that is such a go-to color for me. Okay, the next one that I'm going to show you is Blonde, and this is more of a beigey brown taupe, also a matte. This color is really nice. I like it for the crease, and I tried to use this on my eyebrows, but I found it pulled a little bit red when I put it in my brows, so I found a different color for that I'm going to show you, actually, that a friend suggested to me. Okay, so this is what Blonde looks like here. Really nice neutral, kind of just as what you would think of as standard matte. Not too purpley, not too brown, just sort of a good everyday, reliable taupe. Again, really good texture, really soft, really easily blendable. So those are those three together. And then the final taupe that I have from Bobbi Brown is Cement. Now this is the color that I've mentioned before I use in my eyebrows, and this is also a really great, just soft, all over the lid color for a really in a hurry look. This doesn't have a lot of super pigmentation to it, so if you're really in a hurry and you just want to do something soft on the eye, this is a really grab and go kind of color. I can brush this on quickly, maybe add a little bit of brown bone highlight or not, and I don't have to worry about blending it because it's just so light in color. So this is Cement, and I would consider this more like a light beigey taupe. If it has gray in it, it's like a very light gray. Show you this. This again, very buttery, very light texture. I'd say this color is probably closest to like the color of my shirt, just for reference. Okay, I'm putting this is the bottom swatch down here. So you can see all of these together. This is the Heather Wash, or excuse me, Heather Mauve on top, and then the Blonde and the excuse me. Okay, I'm getting these all confused now because they look so similar. Okay, so this is Heather Mauve on top, and this is Slate, and then Blonde, and then Cement. And again, these will all be on my blog so you can see them a little bit better. I never feel like I get the lighting quite right in here. It's so difficult when you're using artificial lighting. Okay, so now let me wash off my hand and I'm going to get started, and the next group that I'm going to go through is Chanel. Now the first Chanel shadow that I have is Safari. This is, I think, one of the first Chanel shadows I've ever purchased. Really beautiful classic taupe color. I think everyone should have this one in your collection. If you're going to have one Chanel eyeshadow, I would say this should probably be it. This is a soft, shimmery, sort of grayish taupe color. And let me put a little bit more on here. This, again, it's just beautiful. Of course, it has beautiful texture. Really blends in easily on the lid. Great taupe to have in your collection. And then the next one I have from Chanel is the one that came out with the fall collection this year, and that is Gris Gris. It looks like this. This is also sort of soft, shimmery. It probably has a little bit more shimmer than Safari. In fact, I'm definitely sure it does have more shimmer than Safari. And this is more of a mauve-y taupe, but it does have a little bit of silver in it also. But I think you'll definitely be able to pick up on the mauve tones of this when you see it swatched on my hand. This is a really pretty color. Not as go-to as the Safari for me because it does have a little bit of the mauviness to it and a little bit more shimmer. Here they are together. So that's Safari on top, and then that's the Gris Gris on bottom. As you can see, they're very different when swatched. Next up in my collection is Lancome, and I only have one from Lancome, and this is number 121 Classy Stiletto. Very similar to the Chanel Gris Gris, and I'm going to swatch them side by side for you, but I'm going to show you this one by itself first. This is, again, sort of a frosty shimmer. It definitely has a mauviness to it and a little bit of that silver tone. I don't know if I've actually swatched this next to the Lancome Gris Gris, but I'm kind of interested to see it myself. They are going to be very close, if not dupes for each other. Okay, so that's the Lancome Classy Stiletto. You can definitely see how it pulls mauve-y in this lighting. Okay, now let me swatch the Chanel Gris Gris next to that. Well, you know, they're not as close as they look so similar side by side. Let me show you these. They look very, very similar, but then swatched, the Lancome has a little bit more like a reddish mauve, and then the Lancome has a little bit more of a reddish mauve to it, and the Chanel has a little bit more of like a purpley mauve. So that's the Lancome on top and the Chanel on bottom. Oh, they're not as similar as I thought. And see, that's why we need so many taupes in our collection. They're all subtly different, right?